Interested in real estate? How about wealth? Well, they go hand in hand. And here, you'll learn all about it. Welcome to Be the Bank, a podcast where we discuss and debate the topics centered around real estate investing. Your host, Justin Bogard, shares insights into investing in real estate to create real wealth and passive income for you and your family. He'll share stories of real estate investments done right, walk you through the process of owning a real estate note, and most importantly, educate you so you can be the bank. This is Be the Bank, brought to you by American Note Buyers. Now, here's your host, Justin Bogard.
It is episode number 10 of season 5, brought to you by American Note Buyers. I'm your host, Justin Bogard. Today, we're actually going to be talking a little bit about, mostly about artificial intelligence and how it relates to the real estate industry. So stay tuned. Hey, Richard, what's up, dude?
Hey, I had to take notice of our little spinning logo there. You know, it could be a great segue for us in that could be that in the very near future, we will have that little logo designed by AI.
That's true. We could. Taking over the world. Terminator. You see all Terminator movies?
I don't think that's the case, but what's Indy like today?
Actually, that's really nice. The last 2 days, I believe it's been 75 plus sunny. Not much wind, which is nice, even for golfing. It's nice for golfing. We did have about 4 days of like cloudy, rainy weather before that. But yeah, looks good. How about you?
We just cannot. I mean, you're going to hear me whining in a month or two about how hot it is or something like that. But this has got to be the longest winter that Northern California has ever had. It just kind of never goes away. It rained again last night. Not a lot, but it just keeps raining and it's kind of cold and blustery. And just, you know, I've got a vest on the house here and it's just not very fun outside.
Is it snow or has it been snowing?
It's not snow. It's not that not nice. So.
Yeah. If it's like you don't want it to be cold, you want it to be like really cold.
Yeah, it's May. I mean, my God, it's May 10th. Come on, give me a break. It's got to be, you know, birds have got to be chirping and flowers have got to be coming out.
It's like make up your mind. Either make it like snowy weather that we can have fun in, or make it really warm weather that we can enjoy outside. Like either way, don't be in the middle. Be on the two, outskirts.
That's right. And down here in the lowlands, you know, we're all getting ready for what they're calling the big melt out of the Sierra. I mean, they've got over 700 inches of snow that's going to be melting and coming down these rivers. And
wow, you mentioned that before. That's just hard to fathom.
Yeah,
that much snow.
700 inches. That's just amazing. Actually, it was 750 or something like that. I can't remember, but
still, anything over 100 inches seems like a lot, right?
That's a boatload of snow, as far as I'm concerned.
That's accurate description there. Boatload.
Boatload. Yeah.
No more. The metric says now boatload. Like a boatload of money, boatload of snow.
Scientific, yes.
Yeah. Literally, you take one boat and you fill it full of snow. That's a boatload of snow.
That's a boatload. That's right.
I didn't say what size boat.
Well,
could be a yacht, a super yacht.
Yeah.
Anyways, what is new with you? Anything new going on with you? I feel like I haven't talked to you for a couple of days.
I know, guys. Well, I think as you may know, I'm busy designing drip campaigns and doing all sorts of fun things like that for American Note Buyers. And we've got some videos that we're taking online, and we're going to at least have the look of being professional, if you can believe that.
I like it.
Yeah.
Aren't you and Gita going somewhere soon to another state?
We are going to Utah.
Oh, that's right, Utah.
There's a charity that she likes to donate time to anyway, called Best Friends. It's a huge animal sanctuary. You can go up there and donate time, and so she will be doing that, and I will be working for the most part, and we will be taking probably a few hikes and things like it. It's gorgeous country up there. I don't know if you've been to Kanab or.
No, I haven't.
any place like that. But yeah, I mean, I suggest you take the kids sometimes. You want to go to Arches National Park or something.
Okay.
It's very nice.
I've heard of that.
Mhm.
So she's going there to see best friends, and you just don't want a best friend? Is that what it
You
is?
know, I'm just not as much of an animal lover. I will donate a little bit of time, but you know,
Do you wear fur? Like,
yeah,
you're an animal hater then? You're not an animal lover?
yeah.
Have you ever had any pets?
Yes, we had my kids had 3 cats at one point.
Oh gosh. At the
Um,
same time?
Jupiter, Mars, and Pluto. And
Okay.
Pluto was the runt and very small, so
A
thus the
dwarf.
name. That's right.
Like the dwarf planet.
That's right.
That's funny. I had when I grew up, I had my sister would get a cat. So 2 cats during my kind of lifetime in the house with my parents. And then when I got out on my own, it took me a while, but I eventually got a dog. So I've had 2 dogs.
Mhm. Well, we currently have a dog, but
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I hear that thing yipping every now and then.
that's right. It's more Gita's dog than my dog. I don't dislike animals. I just don't get a warm and fuzzy. So
Okay. I feel a sneeze coming on, so if I look away, you know what's going
yes,
on.
you're sounding better coming off your head cold, but you're still not 100% there.
No, it's kind of annoying. It's like you feel like, okay, I'm back to normal, but you don't sound the same, and you still have a little bit of, I have a little bit of a cough and every now and then. It's just annoying stuff. It's like I can still function, like I did before I got sick, but yeah, just annoying. So if I sound a little different, guys, I apologize, listener.
That's right. Well, no, we still know it's you.
Still know it's me. It's not somebody else.
So what do we have hot topics today?
I don't know about hot topics, but I think it's something that's been talked about, and we haven't really discussed this together. So it's kind of fun. This is why I like to do this podcast. Is I like to bring up subject matter that we really haven't talked about or dive deep into because we get a more natural, real conversation about it. And AI, artificial intelligence, is something that has been coming up quite often this past year. I can't pin a date on exactly when this got introduced to the entire business market to use, but Chat GPT is that I believe that's what's called.
Hmm.
They have been a topic of conversation, like on Facebook and other social media accounts, which is where I heard it. My local group called Syria, they have been talking about it the last time we had a big leadership meeting,
Hmm.
and they were just saying how it's pretty interesting. Like, you take it for what it's worth, right? You first are have reservations about a computer trying to maybe write things for you or trying to do tasks for you. You don't trust the process. But when you dive a little bit deeper into it, you can see it does add a lot of value to things that are more like mundane tasks and stuff. So I guess, to fast forward to the punchline, my thought is, why not try and use it? If it can save you some man hours or save you some headache of doing some repetitive tasks, why not do it?
Yeah, well, I think it will be certainly help us write our emails and things like that. Matter of fact, Microsoft is already starting to incorporate it into Outlook. I haven't seen that roll out yet, but I've been told they are doing that. I don't know if you're using the advanced writing feature that's in Outlook right now, but you can if you start to type in something, it will suggest what you're going to say, and all I need you to do is hit the tab button, and it'll write the rest of the sentence for you. I'm already getting that.
Yeah, okay. It's like predictive text.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you've got some phrase that is used over, like, I would just like you to know blank, as soon as you put in I would, it fills in, I would like
Yeah.
you to know, and blah, blah, blah. So that's short stuff, but it's going to be longer versions of that. That's a very simple way that it's
Yeah.
starting.
Yeah, I can see that adding stuff. I mean, everything we do that saves us a mouse click or a keystroke, like throughout the day, it really does add up, and it helps reduce your errors. I think just
Right,
common administrative errors that we all make, and
right,
it's annoying. Like we all, well, especially me. I'll just say for me, I dislike doing things repetitive. I
right.
like to just do them once and get them over with. I feel like it's such a drain on my resources in my life if I have to redo something, like if I have to go over and like repaint something that I already painted, or just things like that in life. I just don't like it. So if that's what it can do for me, I'm definitely all in.
Yeah, and something this is a little bit off target, but I didn't realize it existed as well as it does, and it's actually been improving, I think, over the last 6 months, um, is the dictation feature in Outlook.
Hmm.
If you use Outlook, I mean, you can just hit the little microphone in the upper right-hand corner and dictate your email, and you can write an email pretty quickly that way. And I've been using that a lot, and I'm not the speediest of typists. Um, and you can save yourself a lot of time by dictating your emails.
Yeah, I hadn't used that when the products first, because I have an iPhone. You have an iPhone as well,
Mm.
and they've had that microphone feature for your texting and whatever for a long time. And I didn't use it for the longest time because I didn't really think it would work. I thought I'd have to go back over it. But you're right, it has definitely gotten better as far as technology and really understanding your voice and your dialect and your tone and your, how you speak and enunciate. It really does do a good job of understanding what you're saying. So I have been using it a lot more lately with that. I haven't used it in Outlook that much because I guess I'm so used to typing with my
Mhm.
fingers. Because I'm a pretty fast typer, and so I think that's just second nature to me. But yeah, I definitely see it adding value.
Yeah, so I think that the AI is going to slowly creep into the note business in our end of the world more and more like that. The 2 days ago, the CEO of IBM made the announcement. I don't know if you caught it, but he said that they were going to slow down uh, back office hiring. So they're going to lose people through attrition rather than lay people off.
Yeah,
And basically anything that you could consider to be back office, HR, filling out documents that are repetitive,
yeah.
and that might translate for us to be mortgage notes, the actual note, the quick claim deed, anything like that. Um, will become perfunctory, where we can just say, and this is going to, I think, there are several companies that are going to implement this as opposed to the actual, say, counties, because a lot of governments are behind in this type of thing. But let's say one of the two different vendors we use, that we would have draft some of our docs. We might be able to go to their website and say, please draft a quick claim deed for Lexington County in Illinois. And deliver to me. And 20 seconds later, we get the whole thing filled out, having just given them that little bit of knowledge and the address, blah blah blah, and boom, it's done. And nobody touched it from ABC Company. It was just automatically generated.
Yeah, luckily one of our vendors that we're using right now, they do that. So
Ah,
they use that AI to kind of read text and just basically scrape the data that you need to provide, and then they fill in the blank according to that specific state, county. So yeah, that stuff is already working, and it does work pretty well. You have to still have somebody go over and just verify a QC check on it to make sure that it's accurate, because
right,
it can't make assumptions that are not correct,
right.
and that's where the human element can come in and do a quality check on it. So
Right. And so one of my networking groups is full of a lot of since I am older, and the
you
requirement,
are.
I am all this gray hair. Um,
I was white,
yeah, that's right, white hair, that too.
even
Uh,
worse.
the requirement is that you have to have been a CEO or in business for at least 15 years on your own. And so it's an older crowd, is what I'm trying to say. And a lot of them are lawyers. And the hubbub there is that a lot of the easier sets of docs, mortgages, things like that, that are standardized,
Yeah.
will all be done by AI. That basically they're going to lose a lot of their back end, lower end staff. They won't be required at all to do anything like that.
Yeah, they have different levels of staff, right? They have paralegals, they have just data entry people and stuff. So yeah, I can see that being that job market obviously um, losing employment opportunities for them. But it's just, I think it just comes down to us, evolutionizing our race and intelligence, right? We need to people just need to focus on, something that they want to excel in and just kind of be better at it and be more of a master craftsman as far as instead of like just a layman,
Right.
just a very simple the simple data, the simple tasks are probably going to go away a lot sooner. And so
I
you need
think
to really
so.
specialize in something.
Yeah, and there again, I think I'm not quite sure how this is going to work, but they being the larger group seemed to um, believe in this, and that they're saying that the more simple, easier accounting functions will also be taken over. Um, not quite sure how that's going to work because there's a lot of numbers involved, but they seem to think that that was the case.
Yeah, and there's always going to be a human element that has to be a part of this, a quality control check, because you can't just trust the information that comes out. You basically have, let's just call it like a 95% accuracy on it,
Hmm.
whatever that accuracy is going to be. And a
Hmm.
lot of times it might be 100% accurate, but there is the chance that it might not be. So it still needs that human element just to go through and just give it a quality look. Be like, yep, that didn't work out too well.
Right.
Um,
Oh, something I think we're going to have to be concerned about uh, more and more so in what we're doing is probably fraud.
yep.
I mean, a couple of our compatriots have bought bogus notes, things that look perfectly,
Yep.
legal and are well done and documented, and oops, you find out that no, they weren't. So that's something we're going to have to be mindful of, I think,
Well,
more.
let's talk about that a little bit more because that's a good subject matter to kind of lead in from this, and I definitely can see that being potential. But the
Mhm.
remedy always to that is you got to use a title company.
Right.
Title company is going to verify that seller and or buyer. They're going to get their license. They're going to get their company docs. I mean, that's what we do when we buy things outside of a title company. We
Hmm.
are vetting that buyer or seller and saying, hey, look, are you able to sign on the behalf of your company? Can
Right.
you prove it to us? Show us your articles of incorporation. Show us, that your state Secretary of State is you have a legal entity that's legal and operating right now. So yeah,
Mhm.
you're definitely right. That stuff is going to be more prominent, but the person that's on the other end is going to have to be more diligent about discovering all that.
Right. Now, what's going to counteract that? And again, this is going to be a slow roll in. It's not going to be like,
Right.
I mean, just because Henry Ford or whoever started building cars on an assembly line didn't mean that everybody gave up their horses right away, right? I mean, it
Hmm.
took years to not have horses in the street. But one of the things that's going to counteract and probably radically change, which we have both heard about, the title field is blockchain. I mean,
Yep.
once you get a good blockchain on a property, there's no reason to even to have to run title. It is what it is, and as long as you've got it, you're there. So, and that's something people will be easily able to pull up on their own.
Yep. There'll be definitely strengths to it, and there'll be some let's say criminal minded. That may be too strong a word. Criminal minded folks that will try to be the axiom of it.
Right, right. So, I mean, let's face it, we're in the more mom and pop end of the market,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't be surprised if more of the portfolio analysis, the people who get tapes of
Oh
several hundred
God,
notes at
yeah.
once or anything like that, those will now be done. That underwriting will be done in seconds.
Yeah, it's already being implemented
How
right
so?
now as we speak. I mean, I don't know if you were in a conversation when we were together at our mastermind not too long ago, but that was the topic of conversation is that look, I am very efficient now because I can implement these AI things that just make these tasks that usually take forever, they're just done in just instance, an
Right.
instant. Running analysis on a data tape very quickly, filtering it down to having a yes or no answer. Yes, move forward, or no, don't move forward. I mean,
Right, and I mean, you put in your basic criteria,
yeah,
and that's one of the things that is very different, obviously, in analyzing on a portfolio basis, as opposed to what we do. They're not really looking for a long hold. They want to know what their spread is over X amount of time, and if it meets this criteria, and because they know they're going to sell it in 6 months.
it's a numbers game,
Yeah,
right? They have to go off of bulk quantity, or else the model doesn't work, right?
Right.
They're not a onesie twosie buyer. They
Right.
can't get, what we call getting intimate with the details of a note and actually comb through, hours of information and to make a really good decision. No, you just play off the numbers, just like buying seconds. You got to buy 10 of them before 2 or 3 of them will just be a big boom for you. It's like, you know, it's not a crapshoot, but it's like it's an intelligent gamble.
Right. Right. So I think we're going to see some big changes in our market based on that. Again, it's not going to happen right away. It's going to slowly phase
No,
in.
yeah. We're gonna look back 10 years from now and be like, man, this is what we did 10 years ago to buy a note. Just like the guys that have been doing it well before us look back 20 years ago, be like, I was in the courthouse, Justin, and I was
Well,
I was grabbing the hand stamped recorded document and reading it to make sure I had the like it would take them weeks to get
yeah.
stuff, closed, and it takes us, days.
Yeah. So to your point, when I started with another partner, my mortgage firm, Washington Capital, years ago, we had a West Coast office and an East Coast office. I was based out here in San Francisco, and my partner was in DC. And we do a deal. We're financing a large apartment complex, something like that.
Yeah.
And we'd have 100-page documents, and the only way we could all review them was via fax machine. So we
Jesus.
had 2 fax machines in my little office, and
Oh
these
my
things would
God.
crank. And they had that. The big thing was when it went from that terrible sort of paper that had the gray slimy print on it,
Yeah.
and you could actually use real paper. That was a big thing. But yeah, you had to sit there and read every document, and some of these documents would take an hour or 2 hours to print out before you could even review them. And then you had to make your corrections. Then you had to fax them back. Then you had to get corrections back to that. Then you had to fax them back. I mean, my God.
Yeah, I can see that being a pain. And thank God for fax, otherwise you'd have to be in the mail. You'd lose
That's
4 or
right.
5 days in
Before
transit
that, it was the mail.
just
That's
in the
right.
mail.
That's
So
right.
it took me half a year to do that deal, just to correct all those mistakes.
Well, it did, and I won't go down this rabbit hole too far, but I think you may have known that I've done a whole bunch of reading lately on the country's fathers, right? So I read up on Washington, Hamilton, Monroe, all these guys, and what you realize as you read these biographies, it took them months to get anything done.
Yeah.
They Franklin had to write so and so, and it took. He had to write it in the mail, and it took it 3 weeks to get there, and then a month to get back. And oh my God.
Yeah, we're spoiled compared to them, right?
Yeah. So we are definitely, I think, entering a whole new world here, just as the iPhone revolutionized communications and is still revolutionizing.
Right.
20
20 years later, right?
Yeah. And the other thing, again, not to get too far afield here, but I don't know if you noticed, but Google just announced they are pushing everybody towards away from passcodes and passwords and towards facial ID and things like that.
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, they just, I think Monday of this week, they sent out something that said, guys, if you can, we'd really like you to sign in just on your phone, and we'll do it totally by facial identification.
Mm-hmm.
They formed an alliance with Apple and everybody else, and now have a common ground for doing that, and they want to get rid of passwords.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the next big thing that is going to affect what we're doing.
Yep. That sounds like that's the next safest option, because somebody can get your password, and going through two-factor authentication makes it, even more cumbersome for the user to get into their account, because that's what we do, right? We have to have a password. We have to have a two-factor authentication of either, a text code or a token or some sort of, auto-generated 30-second kill code, to where it disappears and it generates a new one. Like, yeah, it becomes pretty annoying being a user on some of that stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
it's how we have to protect ourselves. Otherwise, someone can just get into your accounting, someone get into your banking stuff. It's scary. It's like you could lose your
every
business
computer
overnight.
guy that I know when I say computer guy, I mean people who are running companies that do tech support and things like that. They all say basically you got to have multi-factor authentication. If you don't, you are just laying yourself bare.
Yep.
Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
So if this is the next best step, and as you say, it's a pain in the butt because I got a 2-story house. I'm downstairs working. Oops, my phone is upstairs, and I've got to.
Yeah, it is. But this is why we have Internet of Things, right? We got watches, we got different things that tether to our phone that we can also authenticate, right on our person if our phone isn't nearby either. But yeah, our phone is like a necessary personal computer.
Just about.
Yeah.
Just about.
So way it's gonna be.
So I'm trying to think of what else it's going to affect besides the back office.
Well, I mean, just think about anything like mortgage brokers need it to run the analytics of somebody that's, getting a loan. Realtors are going to need it to run analytics, for comparative analysis on homes. Like there's anything that you can think of, the AI is going to help immensely on it. But I think it's going to take a good long while for people to accept it, to get it refined, for find appropriate uses for it, because it's not going to work for everything. Right, I seen a guy on YouTube that tried to have AI write him a solo riff, right? Say,
Yeah.
hey, I want a really cool solo with I forget what type of theme. It's like with a 50s feel, with starting in E major or whatever, and he was just going through trying to be specific, and the AI wrote out a solo for it. And he
Right.
played the solo verbatim as to the speed and the cadence and the notes and how
Mhm.
to hold them and everything that the AI said to do. And it didn't sound that good, but it was just trying to prove a point that there are some things that a human mind, that the AI cannot duplicate the human mind,
Right.
at least yet. Maybe an EI, an emotional intelligence combined with artificial intelligence, maybe that might be the
Mhm.
way to do it. But yeah, it's just funny how some things that just won't work right now, and a
Right.
lot of things that will.
Right. Very, very much so. Gita, as you know, my significant other is a professor, and she said she's slowly pulling back from being a true college professor and getting more into the teaching of teachers, of instructors,
Yeah.
teaching them so professional development. And she's very glad because most of her colleagues are scared to death about Chat GPT and having students write papers in 2 seconds, about XYZ.
Yeah, because how can you can prove that they didn't do it? Or how can
Well,
you prove that they did do it?
they have some software that's getting there that'll do it to a degree, but for the most part, you could push a button. One of the guys that I talked to actually, who is a lawyer and is writing legal briefs, he's using it in his office, and he says, "Yeah, I'll go to ChatGPT, I'll have it write my first draft, and then I'll just sort of paraphrase that, and it gets me 9/10 of the way there."
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's great for that purpose.
Yeah.
But for a student writing a paper,
Yeah, just
and
like
so
they
in that
should.
case, you're not going to be able to.
Yeah, it's just like they shouldn't have. Elementary students shouldn't be allowed to use calculators, right? They need to do everything the long way to figure out how to actually do it without the machine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely, yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some sort of way to hopefully police that with people getting education. But yeah, once you're an adult and you're in your business, it's like, well, now I know how to do it, but I really need speed. Is the only way to make money, right? You got to be
Right.
fast, you got to be instant, you got to be at the right place at the right time too.
Right. So it's very interesting to me. The times are changing on this very quickly.
Yeah, technology seems to be getting faster. Like the frequency at which the next thing happens gets faster, which makes the next thing come to us even faster. So it's kind of neat to see, like, whenever the industrial boom happened, like what was that, like the 30s or 40s or whatever, and then all of a sudden, just fast forward today, be like, oh my God, we got so much quicker just in the 2000s and 2023. Like, look where we were in 2000.
Yeah.
Where we are now. It's just like, wow, I thought that was cool back then, and now look at us now. We're a future.
Yeah. So you've probably read, as have I, but I think it's worth mentioning that the industry indicates or has done stats on this, and by whatever criteria they use, I don't know what that is, but they're saying that it took 50 years for television to get fully integrated into society, from the day as it first came out as a black and white TV to when it was fully integrated. Not flat TVs or anything, but just when it was acceptable and most people had a TV and It took 10 years for the iPhone to be fully integrated into society before most people had an iPhone and or some sort of
that's the extreme culture difference from that time frame to this time frame. Like we embrace technology now. Even people that are well past their retirement age, they embrace technology because they're just like, this is actually kind of nice,
Yeah. And as you probably, well, I'll step back. So as you know, we like to travel a lot, and we'll go throughout Southeast Asia and things like that, and we'll see people who, to put it nicely, just aren't dressed very nice, and they're selling, food, they're food vendors on the street or something like that. And they're obviously not making a whole bunch of money. And while they're sitting there selling their beans or whatever, they open up their cell phone.
Right. It's so odd.
And they're talking to whomever.
Yeah, they got $1,000 cell phone they're holding in their hands, but yet they can't. They can barely afford food.
Well, in fact, when Apple buys back your iPhone, they turn around and sell it at a profit there.
That's true. Yeah.
And or there are just a lot of phones that we don't see here.
That's true.
That aren't quite as functional.
Yeah.
They don't have as many bells and whistles, but they're perfectly good cell phones, and you can buy them for $10 or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's probably why everyone's seen Apple's revenue sheet for each quarter and just like scratching your head, like, you make how much profit?
That's right.
In a quarter?
Yeah.
Really?
Right.
Wow.
Right.
All right, Richard, that's all the time we got. Thanks for rapping with me. This AI conversation and the fraud was kind of fun today. So this was episode number 10, brought to you by American Note Buyers. I'm Justin Bogard. This is Richard Thornton, and we will see you guys on episode number 11.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yep.
Thanks for listening to Be the Bank. We hope you learned something from today's show. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate and review us. Plus, check out our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Be the Bank and on Instagram at Be the Bank Podcast. Be the Bank is sponsored by American Note Buyers. Thanks again for listening.